Hey, what's the crack? This is Oliver Keane with Oliver Keane Motion Design, and today we're gonna start making compositions inside of After Effects. What is a composition? So a composition is a container, so where all your work lives. So like any shapes, any text, any footage, or anything like that that you want to animate and like is like your main scene. That's a composition. But compositions can live inside of other compositions. It's almost like Inception in a way. You basically can make a composition and then you can make another one and then drag your first one into the second one, or vice versa, the second one into the first one, whatever it works that way. I'm going to show you really quickly like how to make a composition and basically go from there. So yeah, there's a few ways of doing that. First time you open After Effects, you get this little button that says new composition. You can click that and this panel comes up, and this is kind of the starting process of making a composition. But this panel sometimes doesn't come up when you're like really deep into a project. This panel really only comes up when you're starting a new project and stuff like that. So I like to start a new composition manually. So if you come up here to the panel up here at the top, say composition, and go new composition. This is the way I normally do it, or you can also use a shortcut that I like to use as well. It's either Command N or it's Control N, like I'm on a PC right now. That's what I normally do, but right now I'm not going to go through every keyboard shortcut. But like if you like keyboard shortcuts, all you do is press Control N or Command N if you're on a Mac. You can also do it this way as well. So you can click this little create a new composition right down here, this little button. So that's like a few different ways of doing it, but my normal way of doing it is going composition, new composition, and here we get our settings. So that's what I normally do, is go composition, new composition, because it just is easier for me. So yeah, this is what you get straight away when you come back up here and go new composition. And yeah, straight away you can see you can name composition. So right now I'm just going to go my first comp. There you go. Just because it's our first comp together. Some span new comp. And yeah, this is how you name it. And then you have presets up here. And these little presets are really handy because you can make your own preset as well. I'll show you that in a sec. But what I normally do is work to HD, because right now HD is one of the standards. 4K is another thing that's going to happen in the future, and it's already here. I do a lot of work in 4K, but mainly like if I'm doing stuff for say social media, or I'm doing stuff for just normal screens, it's mainly HD. So that's like 1920 1080. But right here you can see you have presets. So if you come here, don't get bogged down and bothered about like pixel sizes that you need to know what is HD. Is it 1920 1080? I've been doing this for so long, I know exactly what the pixel size are, but don't get bogged down in that. You learn that over time. But yeah, if we come here to presets and go see where it says custom, and come down here and you get all these different settings for different screen sizes and so on. You can see now these are the HD ones, so HD TV, and then when you come down here to UHD, these are all the 4K ones, and then you can do film 4K, you can do all these different ones. But for now we're gonna just stay in HD TV. So yeah, with the HD TV we can pick which one we want. I'm gonna pick HD TV 25 for now, but like there's not really an option there for HD TV 30. I normally stick my frame rate to 30 frames per second. How you change your frame rate is right here. So if you click down this little button here, this is like extra presets for frame rates, just like up here with the presets for for screen sizes. So if we click this down and just turn that to 30, I stick to 30 because I live in LA, I live in the US, and mainly a lot of my motion graphics stuff is done in 30 frames because it gives me a lot more frames to play with and so on. So yeah, you can see here you can change it to 25 if you want. People in like when I used to work in London, I used to work in 25 a lot, and I used to work in 29.97 as well. So it just depends on what you're doing. A lot of times as well, when you're starting out as a motion designer, or if you're working in an agency, they'll give you a spec sheet of what size and frame rate screen needs to be. Either if it's like a digital screen for out of home, and when I say out of home, it's like the screens in like Piccadilly Circus in London, or screens that are outside, like big like billboard animation screens, they're out of home. And then sometimes you do social media stuff that's just for social media, like Instagram, Facebook, whatever. A lot of times you just, like I said, ask whoever your client is, ask them for a spec sheet of what they the right frame rate and what's the size that they want. So yeah, for me right now, I'm just going to use 30 because they're beginner and 30 is a good frame rate to start out at. So yeah, we have 1920 by 1080, we have 30 frames per second. Don't really get bogged down by pixel aspect ratio and stuff. This is basically there for when you zoom into an image and you see the little square pixels and an image. These are square pixels, and basically those pixels can be different sizes, and when you come here to all these different settings, it's basically how those pixels are stretched across the screen. So don't worry about that right now because that's for more of an advanced thing. And then resolution, keep that at full. And then these are your start time codes. So 00 is good. And then your duration. So you can put this to whatever you want. You know, like if you do 20 seconds or you do 10 seconds, whatever you want. So I'm going to keep it at 10 seconds. And then this is your background color of like what your comp is going to be as well. So you can change that. And you also have a color picker to click, you know, whatever color you want. And then you have these little advanced settings and 3D render. Don't touch these for now because, like I said, you're a beginner. This is your first, you know, you're starting out, so I wouldn't worry about these extra advanced features for now. This is how you set up your first comp, and these are the settings that like I'd recommend for just your first comp. And also you can set up a preset for, you know, for that preset. So that this is like 30 frames per second. Like if I go HD 30 FPS, so HD 30 frames per second, and I go okay, see, that'll set up my own preset, and that'll be always there, you know. But yeah, that's how you do your own, you know, your first comp settings, and this is how you set up a preset if you need it. So if you press OK, you'll see straight away you get a viewer right up here in your composition viewer, and you have your HD viewer right here. We also see what happens when you press, you know, create your new comp. You get over here on the left hand side in this is the project viewer right here, you get your my first comp. So there you go, that's your first comp. That's creating your very first comp. So well done, you know. Well, hey, first comp, that's the first step to, you know, start making like some motion design work. So yeah, that's how to make your first comp. In the next session, I'm going to show you the timeline, solids, and stacking layers inside of After Effects. So I see you guys in the next session and speak with you then. Bye bye.